Well, Joe, Derby week, always a big one. You had 2 big results against this mob last year. Are you excited to get into this one?
Yeah, super excited. With a new season comes new challenges, and a new challenge for us inside the Derby is a strong Melbourne victory. So we have looked forward to this from the start of the week. We're prepared for it. We're coming now to the end of the week, and it's game time. So for us, super excited. We've had a bit of a break in regards to our last game. So, super fresh, really healthy, and really excited to hopefully get another strong Melbourne Derby feel about things. Maybe over the last few years it's dropped off a bit for whatever reason, but there's no excuse now with Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory looking like strong teams for everyone to get out and get a part of it and give it to your mates come Monday morning, whatever which way the result goes.
Have you missed the Derby, and what are you expecting from an atmosphere?
Have I missed the Derby? I've missed all games, but when it comes to Melbourne derbies, when it comes to Sydney derbies, they're the marquee fixtures of the league. Let's not get it twisted. The 2 main derbies in this whole competition is the Sydney Derby and the Melbourne Derby. Sydney FC, Western Sydney, and Melbourne Victory versus Melbourne City. So they're the marquee fixtures. They're the games that get the ordinary Joe Blow to come out and watch it, and it's on for us to really put on a show.
But it's the Christmas Derby, right? We didn't have it with the delayed season start last year. It seems like it always gets that bit more fire and spite about it.
I don't necessarily think that gets any more fire or spite. I think that just comes along with the territory of playing Melbourne Victory. But you do add the Christmas feel to it, the more holiday kind of feel, which hopefully means more people are more relaxed about coming out and enjoying the game and enjoying the spectacle, and that just adds to the whole, I guess, buzz that the A-Leagues try to generate with the whole new broadcast deal and the way we look at things.
Jimmy, I think your teammate Jamie McLaren is in the Herald Sun today talking about how the couple of the last derbies felt like a training run. Was that?
He said that?
He's quoted in the Herald Sun.
I can tell you, yeah. I can tell you now that none of our players have looked at any games being training runs. You make what you want out of the past results that we've had against Melbourne Victory. Totally different beast. I'd find it hard, Macca, saying it was training runs. They were great results at that time, but different story, different beast. Melbourne Victory can worry about those results, not us.
What have you made of Melbourne Victory? They're obviously back up and about this year, as you mentioned. What have you made of having a look at them? What do you need to get right?
I knew with Popovic coming in that they were going to get their house in order. He's a very organised coach, a very good one, so that's going to be the way he runs things. But I haven't had too much to look at him, to be honest with you. A lot was made of their result against Adelaide, which is a good result, but we were 1 kick away from winning in Adelaide, so that's the differences. People said our performance was ordinary. People are saying that their performance was great, but really it was 1 kick that cost us in Adelaide. So the way other people look at things is different to the way I look at things, but I haven't had too much to look at them, to be honest with you. I've been worrying about Melbourne City and trying to be successful with ourselves, but it's good to have a stronger Melbourne Victory compared to the last few years, that's for sure.
So do you think you guys are held to a higher standard than Melbourne Victory, given your success last year versus their abjectness?
Standing here as Melbourne City captain, I believe it's within our own right to have the highest standards than anyone else in this league. If I said different, I probably wouldn't be wearing a Melbourne City top, I'd be wearing another team. So I believe, and we definitely believe as a team, that we set the standards as high as anyone, and with that comes backing up with performances, and that's what we look to do. We've had a start where we've looked to try and improve, but a lot of teams have made it hard for us, and that's been a compliment, where other teams have sat they're pretty much their teams behind the ball and try to make it frustrating. But when it comes to standards, when it comes to raising the bar, we look to be number one.
You talked about the feeling that goes into all games against Melbourne Victory. What does that actually feel like on the pitch? Are you talking a little bit more than you normally would? Is the opposition doing that? Just how does that actually play out?
I just think it adds more of an edge to contests. Whether me, you've watched me for a while. I mean, myself and Bruno Fornaroli went at it, and that was with a crowd of a few thousand, whereas this one will be about 20. So it doesn't really change for me. The hype, the build-up, it certainly adds to it. But when it comes to a contest, you're in 90 minutes, and people do buy into the whole. I've got to play up for this rivalry. But I believe as players and as Melbourne City players, we understand that they're the rival. We want to beat them. but we also understand there's a competition. There's 3 points on the line, so we can't, take a wrong view at it and get caught up in the hype. That's up for you guys to real build the hype and get what you need to get out of it. But as players, I think we're on a little bit of an edge and we have to control that.
And obviously you guys coming into this game off a 10-day break from your last game, how's that affected your preparation? Do you think that's given you an advantage in this one?
Nah, there's no advantages this early. You could have come off 3 or 4 and I'd still be confident. We've had more time to work on things, and when I say more time, we obviously worked on things in the whole pre-season, but having seen how teams have come up against us, the start of the season, and albeit a little bit surprising for us that we've had teams put 11 behind the ball. We've had to try and work on things and get cater for that if it's to happen this Saturday night. But preparation-wise and fitness-wise, no, there's no advantage. Both coming off wins, so confidence is high for both teams.
And you're confident that with the extra work that you've done, you're able to break those teams down more easily or overcome those problems?
Overcome those problems, yeah. I would never use the word easy when it comes to professional sport, and I wouldn't use that. But we've had to identify where we've probably fell short in certain games, albeit, like I said, Adelaide we were 1 kick away from winning a game. Western United, it was a problem that we had where they scored early and then we were up against pretty much 10 to 11 players in their own half. So it's something that will confront us whether it's this week or the following weeks, and that's as a club and as a team that we focus on this week, but we also have a plan in place to cater anything that comes over the next few weeks and months.
Gemma, has anything changed for you guys? We know that there's been a couple of COVID cases in the league.
Yeah.
For you guys as players, has there been any additional caution in terms of cafes, restaurants?
No, we're pretty diligent. I think without tooting our own horn, we're probably the most well-run football club in regards to the whole COVID process. Whether it's PCR tests, whether it's actual COVID tests. I'm very confident to say that we're leading the way in the league of that. But I find it hard. We're trying to dodge an invisible virus. And we talked about prior to a set of cricket players. Some sitting inside, some sitting out. Someone misses, some don't. So I could go on all about it. I've got an opinion on everything. But I'll just share that it's a virus that we have to live with, and let's live with it rather than trying to hide from it. But in saying that, we live our life in a way where we try and stay as healthy as we can, and that's all we can do. But I don't really think anyone should get punished for giving a negative test and then not being able to play a cricket game or a soccer game.
And just on your front three, Joey mentioned Macca before. Probably the goals haven't flowed as much as they would have liked, being strikers. Yeah. What have you tried to do with them? Paddy's very much said he'll back them in all the way. How's it been for you as captain with those guys obviously wanting to get on the scoreboard more?
It'd be a different story if they weren't 3 Socceroos and they were 3 young boys who, hadn't gone through. I'm sure each and every one of them have gone through experiences where they haven't been on top of their game or they haven't been scoring goals, or like I said, they've had 11 players of an opposition behind the ball and congesting that space. But 3 individuals and 3 very good individuals are going to be wary of what they need to do, and like Paddy does and like I'll do and like the rest of the team does, we'll back these 3 boys. Lex just had a daughter, so he's in great spirits. Macca's in good spirits, and Andy's in good spirits. So very confident that whatever we are faced with this weekend, we'll be able to answer any questions asked, and hopefully 3 of them can get on the score sheet. That'd be great.
As you mentioned before, clashing with Bruno, you've never been a player that shied away from confrontation and getting under opponent's skin. Do you have a particular strategy surrounding that? Like if you see a player that maybe a bit skittish, you've got a preferred method of mental disintegration?
Nah, so if a player kicks me from behind, I'm not going to say thanks very much. Contrary to what people think, it takes something to happen to me also to maybe go back at people. But no, I'm not good enough to single out someone and say they're my bunny as such, or I can get under them. I play the game in a way that I've only played it, and that's competitive, physically, mentally, verbally. So I'd love to give you a name that I could say I'm going to give hell to this weekend, but I'm not good enough to stand here and say he's going to cop it for 90 minutes, and that's the case. I play the game as I see it, and that's just how I am, like me or hate me.